Okay, transversals cut a line in half, and when you see this, this is here, and transversals are usually either going to make a line, lines like these are parallel. So it's either going to be parallel or perpendicular. Okay, and while we're on the subject, let's go ahead and review another way your teacher is probably right. They just draw two down lines and they call it parallel. Of course, they make them equal. And this is perpendicular. And they usually put it in a bracket. Okay. Now, we're dealing with parallel lines in this video because I don't want to confuse issues. And here we are. Also, when we're dealing with these lines, this is called a straight line. This here is called a straight line. But also, if you're dealing with geometry and you want to do this, you want to call it a straight angle. And a straight angle equals what? 180 degrees. So if ever you want to see something, you always try to make sure you understand that a straight angle equals 180 degrees. Okay, so, and these are really supposed to be more like arrows that represent perpendicular or parallel lines, not perpendicular. This is an arrow, means they're parallel, and they go out, but that's what these are supposed to be. Arrows attached a little bit better than what I'm drawing onto the line, meaning that they are parallel. Okay, so anyway, we can now understand something. That means that angle 1 and angle 2 have to equal 180. If you were to say that angle 2 and angle 3 are equal, that means angle 2 and 3, you could also find out what angle 1 would be. So if angle 2 was equal to the same thing as 3, you could find out what angle 1 would have to be once you knew 2 or 3. So let's move on and try that. Now for an interior angles test or an alternate exterior angles test, you do the z-test. And all you do is you simply say, well, if this is the angle here that's 2, what is the z from it? It's 3. So your angles of congruency are 2 is congruent, which means equal to the measure of angle 3. Angle 1 and angle 2 are equal because of the straight line theorem, or straight angle theorem. Don't get that confused. They have to be equal. Why? Because they're next to each other and they have to equal 180. Angle 2 is equal to angle 3. Okay, and you do a z-test to figure this out so that you can get these across and see what's going on. Now, let's move on to our next. Okay, same side exterior angles gets harder because, and so does same side interiors. Okay, because what happens is there's really no way to look at anything except for to just go and look and say, okay, this is exterior, and kind of see if you can draw a line here. Okay, and then they may ask you some questions, but like really when you're doing exterior, you're just like going. And again, these angles have to equal 180. So let's look at what this word same side means. This is same side exterior. So this angle and this angle have to equal. So this is written as measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 7 have to equal 180 degrees. Okay, we will get to this later. This is one of the most, this is one of the hardest parts to understand, because if you were to take this and you were to make this straight and turn this would be the interior side, meaning inside. That's an E, by the way. And this would be the exterior side, meaning the outside. So this is outside, this is outside too. Okay, but this 3 and this 7 don't have anything to do with this, so we're not going to pay them too much attention right now. Okay, and sorry about that. We're not going to pay 3 and 5, I'm sorry, any attention. We're looking at 1 and 7. They have to equal 180 degrees. Okay, so this is just reiterating what I already said. The measure of angle 1 here has to equal the measure of angle 7 here. So you write measure of angle 1 equals measure, or is congruent to the measure of angle 7. So congruent means equal. The way your homework does this, sometimes it may get you to think through what's going on, and it may ask you to do a question in another way, and we'll review that. So I circled 4 and 6 here because these are your same side angles, and here's the problem. On the other side, it was 1 and 7. Now it's 4 and 6. And a lot of people want to call these verticals because they forget that when you do a vertical, you have to have this other line here. And so that would be 2, and let's say, I guess 9 would be the next angle. So 2 and 9 would be verticals because you have another transversal cutting through it. But here you don't. So guess what? Your 2 and 7 were your exterior, were your outside. Outside and exterior mean the same thing. I meant 1 and 7, I'm sorry. 1 and 7 were your exterior angles outside. Four and 6 are it for inside. And we'll move on to the next problem. So you got some angles here. And if you don't get confused, you're going to soon get alternate interior angles, and we'll get into that later so we can see the differences. So measure of angle 6, or angle 6 and angle 8 must equal 180 degrees. Okay, so let's answer the question. If the measure of angle 6 is 95 degrees, what is the measure of angle 8? This is 180 minus 95 is 85. Why is that? Because you said that angle 6 was 95 degrees. So 95 plus 85 has to equal 180. This is 85. So try to get used to these numbers. And if you understand what the formula is saying, you're okay. You can always do 180 minus 95. You're here. 10 minus 5 is 5. This is 7. Borrow the 1. 17 minus 9 is 8. If angle 3 is 80 degrees, what is the value of 5? So again, we have same side interior angles, and we're going here, inside. This is inside. This is 3. This is 5. And they have to equal 180. So measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 5 has to equal 180 degrees. And they already gave you the measure of this. So angle 3 is 80. So this has to be 100 to equal 180. So that's all you have to know. Just look at what's going on and try to get what your interiors are. This is also a same side. Okay, but this over here is the same side too. And so just look at what they're asking you. It's the same side. And remember, they are equal. And the word sometimes substituted for equal is congruent. All right, so let's move on. This is for the next lesson. Just want you to get this here. 720 degrees is what all 6 angles have to equal. 120 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a hexagon, so there are 6 angles. So 120 times 6, 720. That's all you have to know for next time.